Welcome back. So we are succeeding in creating our Hello World sample application. That is a text messaging application, just like the number one which we have on our mobile device that runs on Android operating system. So now let's create or let's just make use of this our sample application, Hello World sample application to create. Let's make it a real application that is going to work on our mobile device to send SMS to people. So we do that, and remember previously I just said about we created our layout in a hard code way. That's what we call hard coding, and that's why we are getting these errors here. When you go to the problems, you should be still having the three errors here. It's trying to tell us that hard coded string, that is for our phone button test view, and message then button, all we are done in the hard coded way. And you can remember also we drag from the palette here to our layout in order to create our layout. So what I'll do now is that in order to be able to teach you more of how to go with SML codes, because moreover you'll be using SML code in creating our we're using SML code to create our layout. So, but before we continue, I would like to say much about the SML code and the Java code. Why is what it can be able to, how it can be able to help you in creating Android applications. The UI, there are two approaches we can use in creating our UI, our user interface. We can use the declarative approach and the procedural approach. This declarative approach is more of the SML code, and the procedural approach is of the Java code. Basically, it's good for us to use these two approaches, but you have to start with the SML code first before you go to the Java, because the SML code is very good at creating the interface or decorating, giving the interface a very good look. But what happens when a button clicks or when a color is selected or an icon is clicked? The SML is not good at it. Like example, if you want to create a button, you basically go for the decorative approach. The SML code is very good about the width, the height, the size, dimension of the button you're creating, the color of the button. But what happens when the button clicks? The SML code is not good at it. So the best approach to the UI is working with two of them, but first with the SML code before you go to the Java. First of all, create the button or the layout first, then you go into the Java code and able to instruct what happens next on the layout you created with the SML code. So you can see here I said that you can start with SML and declare most of the UI. Switch to Java and implement the UI logic. The UI logic is what happens when the SML code is clicked. So now let's go back to our application. Let's try to implement what we just learned about the two approaches in creating our UI, our user interface. Remember, as I said, we are getting this one easier because we just created our layout through the hard coding way. So what I will do is that I'll go through the normal process in order to teach you the proper way of creating the layout without the hard coding. So what I will do is that in order to carry these warnings we are getting here, so what I will do is that I'm going to wipe out everything which we have created so far. So I'll go to the activity mail.sml file, Control A, I'll delete everything. So it's now our activity.sml file is now empty, and when you go to the graphical view, you see that we have nothing here. And if I try to say Control S, you see this warning will be off because nothing has been, no issue, you have nothing to give us warning. So our warning is from the layout, that is the hard code we just created. So now let's do things in a appropriate way. But first of all, since we have to have a test view for the number inputs area, the message button, and the send button. That's the three areas where we're getting these warnings as we did the hard coding. Let me just do Ctrl Z so you can be able to see what I'm trying to say. I undid what the deletion which I just did. So now let me go back to the graphical layout to show you what I mean by the warnings. So what I'm trying to say is that we did it the hard coding way, and you see we are getting these three warnings here. So we have to use string format in order to correct this hard coding which you just did here. You can see the hints here is that test view to hard coded string message should use a string resources. So let's do it the proper way by using a string. You use a string to call an information, or use a string to call a detail about the particular store. So now let me delete it again. Then we create a string for those three items here. You go to your under your resources folder, res, then under your layout folder, under your resources folder, under your values folder, you get your string.sml file. So inside this string.file, you see these three items written here, which is the hello world, the name of our application, with the string. The string name is app name, that is the application name, and the detail there is hello world, that is the name of application. This will be the output. Then this will be the string name. This will be the output. This is what you give out. So let's go through by creating the strings for phone button test view and message button test view, that is for the message, and the button send button. So we control say string. Actually there's two proper ways to do that, but I'll be using the coding, like the source code view way. You can do that by going to resources if you don't normally know much about coding. So what I will do that I'll create this string through this graphical layout, that is through the graphical presentation. Then later I will try to create other things. I will go through the XML code, that is source code. So for us to create a new string, we'll be creating string to phone number. That is where it's like the topic for the phone number bus. Understand? So it's like the details for you to tell the user this is you have to put the phone number here. It's not for message. So let's put a topic for there and the information. So we have to create string. We call that through a string, so it will report us that we are using the hard coding. So let's add a string. You click on add, you select string. Okay, this name of the string, you say let's use for the name of the string. Then let's put the output will be to phone. You click Ctrl S, or you go and click add again. Let's add for the message tab, that is the topic for the message bus. We say name should be message, and body should be message. Then we add again for the send button. So the name will be send and the value will be send. So string name send values send. Later we'll be creating the hints for the layouts. In case the user wants to, you have to give it a hint on the message bus. This is what you have to type here. You just give it a hint of what you should put on the bus. But later you still do that through the string approach, so it will not report us that we are doing this in a a hard coding way. So we are done with the string for now. So we go back to our activity main.html file. Let's create let's create our UI. So here in our activity.html source code view, we need to add a linear layout to our UI, as we don't have anything here. So for us to add a linear layout for our UI, under our palette, we go to layouts, then we add a vertical linear layout to our application. You have to add is you double click on it and drag it to the workspace. So you double click on it, drag it, and leave it. You can see we have created a layout similar to the previous one which we have. So you double click on it, drag it here. So let's go back to our source code. There's still something left in our layout. We have to identify the color to our background. You cannot remain our background color white. We have to identify the color for our background. We have to add padding to it. So we say Android padding. What I've tried, there is a quick format, just a quick format in order to code your when you're working with through the source code. I'll show you that now. Let's put our padding ADP. Now when I'm talking about the quick format, that is a quick suggestion. It gives you a quick, if you are typing, it gives you a quick suggestion of options. Like let's try to add the background. So here is a quick suggestion in case if it is not out, or you are trying to start from the beginning, you can add this option is not here. Just use control space on your keyboard. It will give you a quick suggestion of the options that you can use on creating your typing on your source code. So I want to create a background. Let me add a color background to our layout. So say Android background. I'm naming my background. Say background. My background color should be 003. Whenever you're adding a background color, you should start with hash, then the color. So now we added our layout for our application. And see here is our background color, and we added a padding to it. So let's continue by creating the text view for our phone. That is the topic. The topic, or just the title for the phone number box. And so let's add a topic or title for our phone number box for the user to be able to identify. Say, okay, here is where I should put on the phone number for the SMS. So we're through with that. Inside the layout before the closing tag, so we say text view. Text view Android. We'll create the text color. This text color, just give it a text color of white. So text color, this is a quick suggestion. White for text color for white code is hash ff728 ff8. Then we continue by calling, or before that, let's assign an ID to our text view. Let's give an ID, a name for it. To say Android. Alright, this should be a small letter. Android ID. Let's give it an ID like phone test fields, because we'll be using this in what I call the UI logic. We're using it in our UI logic to know whether a number is truly inputted into that bus field. That's why I'm trying to assign an ID to it, because I'll use this ID to call on this particular test viewer right here. That is the title. So let me continue. I'll say Android assign ID to this our test field. Let me say the test field is phone test field. Yeah, phone. Sorry, this is not the normal approach. When you use the hint Android, you have to say at ID at plus ID, then you put your ID. So phone test field. Yeah, you have to still assign an ID to it. In case if you continue without putting this at plus ID, you get an error. Let me just try to copy this. Let me try to copy this out, then I'll delete it and try to delete this at plus ID. You see the error which we'll be getting. So let me copy. Yeah. Let me just try to save it. You see, we got an error here. It's trying to tell you this is not the right format. You can't just assign an ID to a test view or to something like that without representing it with an ID field. So you see the error here. You see the hint error string type not allowed at ID with value phone test field. That is the normal format for assigning ID to a particular parameters. So we Control Z to reverse this. Is now okay. So I will continue. What next we do is that we have to let these parameters know that actually this is for a phone tab, for a phone bus and not for alphabets. So it's only numbers that should be allowed in this bus. Other alphabetics characters or other things is not allowed. It's only numbers 001 to 019 to 0 to 9 is allowed. So let's try to tell this test view that actually it's only numbers that should be allowed, nothing else except numbers. Let me save it, Control S, in order to get rid of this error, because we did it in normal view now. We got this error before because we just removed the at plus ID. So I will once I save this error will go. So I'll say Control S. The error should be gone. So now let's assign an input type which should be a phone bus for it. Let's say Android input type should be only for, it should be for phone, that is phone numbers. Your real numbers should be allowed here. So you say input time should is phone. Input time, quick suggestion, phone. So now when you try to put alphabets into this bus, you won't get any alphabets, you just get numbers. Right, so we continue. So what next is that we have to assign a layout width to this, then a layout width, then a layout height. This is our particular test view. Actually every of them should be having a layout width and a layout height. You have to accommodate to the layout which we just created here. And remember, we assign then automatically this these are layout here assigned, said that you should fill the parent and should left nothing. So now try to accommodate this to match the parents. You know, this is like the father and these are the children. Just like I will take everything, then let my children try to accommodate with me. So Android layout width match parents. So the layout height Android layout height match parents. No, you should wrap the content here. Yeah, you should wrap the content. So quick suggestion, wrap content. So now you discover that if we try, we need to create a hint. Let's continue. So we are through with this test view, and if you check in our graphical layout, you see that we assign a test view, but can see it here. The color is not showing, it should be on white color. This color should be alright. Okay, what happens is that we have not yet, we didn't call on the tool, that is, we didn't call on the string that is to assign a text to it. So you can see where we pointed at in the graphical layout, we had nothing here. There is no right up here, it should be to phone. So we called that from, remember we created the strings for that. We created a string here for that to string, that is the string, and the output should be to phone. So let's implement that here. So we say Android. Now okay, here is how you see how we are calling this from our string. So Android, say, should we try tests a string to conquest. Alright, I see we are able to call our output from the string here. Output from the string, so actually to see the output here, this is the string name, and we call it with the string name which we call it when we store. You understand? You say Android, we assign a text to it, call from string, then just with a string name too. So for you to see the output as we create, you remember when we are try to create a string, you click on the string.sml file, you say to string, see the output should be to phone, and that's what you just call. It's called the string to, and the output is to phone. That's it here. So now let's continue. We have a warning here. That Android input type should not be used with text view. Change. Alright, this is normally, this is for the text view. So this is not a box. Actually, that should be not typing here. You understand? So this is what we'll be using in the text box. You understand? This is what we should be using on the text box. So which means we did the wrong format here, both for the ID and for the input type. These two things should be going for the text box, because we'll be using the ID to call from the UI logic, right? Oh, okay, check if this box is empty. Then on the input type, you'll be saying that only phone numbers should be inputted here. So but this is just an Android text view, so nothing should be typed in, or it's just a text, nothing should be. So we highlight these two, we cut it, so it should not be there. It's not a normal. So now we can get this of this error now. Alright, and this our width should be fail parents. Should be fail parent because it's two. So it should be fail parents. And I hit Control Shift fail point, because we got an error here. Alright, okay, this shows the same one. Try to Control S to save it. Let's check. Alright, so let's control to other fields. So we'll try with the text view. Let's go to edit box. That is with the box where the numbers should be inputted. So we say we have created a title for the box, and now let's go for the box itself. So we say for the box should be edit text, and this is a text view, that is the text view. Then this is to edit the text, where the text should be put or something else should be put in. And we continue, say edit text, Let's assign a background because it should have a background color and not be the same with this layout background. It should have a separate background color. So you say edit text. Let's assign a background to Android background. Let's give it a background color. Let's use CC FFF as a background color. Then let's put our ID and the input. Remember, I cut it from our text view because we made a mistake. It should not have anything to do with this text view. It gave us a warning that it should not be there, so I cut it from here, and let me just paste it here, or let me just continue coding it so it can be in case if you didn't follow up what I put in here. So let's assign an ID to it. Say Android ID at plus ID font text field. So we continue. Then instruct it to allow only numbers and not alphabets. So Android text input text type input type should be font, not text. Actually, you can see some suggestion here. I say you can allow only text to be put, and you can allow only text with capital words. You understand? You can mix with so many things, but you can see so many options here. You can say okay, only web email address should be there, only web password, number, other things. So now just try to assign for each for numbers. That is, only phone number should be inputted inside this box. So we continue. Let's assign a width and height to it, and say Android and layout width should be match parent Android layout height should wrap content. Let's wrap the content that is being put inside here. So wrap content. So I guess we are through with let's control S. Let's save it in. Just go to your graphic card and see what you have done so far. So here is our phone input area. Actually, if I am to test this in our ADT, if you discover that I can't put any, but if I'm to test it if it is going to work, you discover that it's the only number that is allowed in here. That will be done later in Eclipse. So, sorry, that will be done later in our emulator. When we install it, we try to type alphabets here. You see that it's only going to work. It's the only number that should be put here according to what's created. But we discover that we didn't create any hints for our users to see actually what it should be, or what should be put here. That's what I told that we'll be creating a hint, but this hint should be coming from our strings. But actually, there's still another way to put it. You can like click on here. I think that is the option for it. Yeah, when you right click, you can see edit hint. There is no hint available. In case if you don't normally like coding, when you click on when you right click on the box, you see the option is click select editing. So here actually this thing here is our strings, so you still have to call it from strings. So it's better for you to go and create it on string, or in case you can just create it here. So say new string, just still trying to create string for it. So new string, and here is the string name. Should be the string here. Should be the string name. Say let's name our string for the hint. It's a hint. Then let's let's put a hint for it. So we say, let's give a hint to the user. So we say example. Actually, this will appear on the bus, but once the user start typing it, it will just disappear. You don't have to clear anything. What I'm typing here is the hint. It will just apply on the, it will appear on the bus, on the phone number bus, but once the user start typing the phone number, it will just disappear. It doesn't have to clear anything before you start typing it. It's just a hint. We say example. You're just trying to give you a suggestion what should be there. So you say 080 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 5 6 7. Yeah, it's a quick suggestion. All right, so this is the hint. You say okay. You see that this hint will be applied to the phone bus actually once it's created. So you say is selected at default after you create. You say okay. You see the hint is applied on the bus, but it's not inputted there permanently. Once the user start typing in, you just disappear. It doesn't have to clean out anything. So we are true for the title for the phone bus test, and we have created the phone bus and instructed it for all the numbers should be there. You may ask me why is it that this example, which is alphabet, is there. It actually is not inside this bus. It's just a hint. If it's inside this bus, once the user clicks on the bus to type, this right up here should still be remain there, but it's not on the bus. It's just a hint. So let's continue creating for other options. So let's assign a text view for our message body. We say text view requires Android background color. Let's assign a background color of white to it. So we say hash f into 8. F into 8 is the color code for white. So we continue. The text should be called from the string. So we say Android text. Let's call it from a string. String, yeah, message. All right. So let's create in the layout width and layout. So I say Android layout width, parent, Control Shift A, Control Space is for a quick suggestion. So you can always use that for your quick suggestion. So I'm just typing in type long text. Use that for your quick suggestion. So Android layout with height, Control Space, wrap content here. Three dots. And when you check a graphical layout, you see that you have the option. Sorry, this not. Oh, sorry. This should not be a background color, but a text color. That's why the whole background is in. That's why we just made a mistake. Sorry. It's not be a background color, but a text color. So Android text color should be white here, because it's not corrected. That's a mistake. So let's continue. Let's now create the message box. We say edit text. Edit text. We also have to assign an ID to this text box. We need to assign this because actually we'll be using this in the UI logic to know whether these balls are empty. So we try to give out a warning or error to the user that you left these balls, so this balls empty. It should not be so. So we say let's apply the ID to Android ID add plus ID. Let's say our ID should be message test field. That's done. So continue. Let's apply the same background color to the one we use for our phone number post area. We say Android background color. Let me just copy the code. Yeah. And we continue with the weight, the height. Yeah, we say Android layout. Weight should be 3 parent. Android layout size should be, yeah, this is where it will fall different, because actually the message bus should be bigger than the phone bus area, so here should be different. So we have to, let's assign, when we use 0dp, just like give more space, give it more space for the for other things that is coming on. But what we use one is like, okay, let's share it equal, or if you try to share it equal with the other remaining options or other field that is coming into the layout. I'll still explain that later. So you say 0dp. We usually use dp when it comes to define the parameters in using an HTML code in Android. You use dp, that is the extension for it. This is not peso, percent, or other things, because of the screen display in screen display in other mobile devices that run Android operating system. So we think then should be okay. Let's add a width. Let's add a width to width, Android layout width. This layout width will help to instruct the message body. You are instructed to use or to share your message body, your bus, with the space left in the layout with others, and not to use that one. So when we check on it, you can see here that the message bus took over the remaining space in the layout. But when we try to add other items, it will automatically move up or give space for the other items to come in. That's why I implemented this width here. So whenever you try to, you need to, whenever you want to share your width, your maybe your space width or height, your layout width or height with other items inside your layout, inside your linear layouts, you need to specify a width for it. So width is for give space for other items to come in. But once you add 0, it's like take over everything. Don't share with anybody. So now we are done, but you can see on the graphical layout we don't have a hit as we have here in the phone bus area. So we have to assign a, so the user can be able to know actually what should be done here. So we do that in our, we call that winner string, or you can just do that as we did it in our phone bus area. You can do it from the graphical layout. Say you right click on it, go to edit hint, but we'll be creating a string for it. So new string, the string name should be, or we can just, I'll just hit use hint 2 for it, since we have hint 1 hint already. So you just say hint 2, because if you try to use hint again, you see the error here that in our resources body string already contain a string id hints with a value. So I just use hint too. Then our string, you can put anything. I would say for me, I would say I love learning how to create Android apps. Yeah, this is just my hint. You can just put on any other value for yours. And how to create Android from android.com. So we define a hint for this. We click on OK. Then we select the hint, that is hint 2. Okay. You see, couldn't resolve the source as string. Alright, so I've just corrected it. I see our string is automatically in there. So what left now is the send button. So let's create the send button. You can see the hint is automatically assigned to our edit test source code. You can see it here. Actually, we didn't type it, but when we try to put it from the graphical layout, you just automatically assign here. So let's continue. Let's go the send button. So we say button. We're trying to create a button, but that button will be our send button. So we say button. Then we send an ID to the button in order to use our UI logic. So we say Android ID at plus ID, say send button. Then the layout Android, layout width, Android layout width should be 3 points. Android layout height should be wrap content also. Okay. Then we instruct that you'll be using this in our UI logic, but let me just add it here straight away. We need to instruct this send button. Once it's clicked, you should send out the message. So we use what's a parameter here, which is provided for us in only buttons, that is the only buttons that this is available. So we use what is called on click parameter. So we say Android is trying to instruct the button. Once it's clicked, I should send out the message. So Android on click. What's going on? What's playing? Yeah, Android on click. Yeah, on click send. Then let's change the name that is in graphical layout. You can see actually, well, if we applied a color for that, you will see that this color here, I'm going to try to apply a text color for that, so you can see what I'm trying to say. Android text color should be, say, use the same color, white. F24. Okay, there is no text on it. So let me try to define a text. Actually, we did that for it in the string. We created a text for it. which will say send. The send should be a string and the value should be send. Let's use this test. I use the test Android. I should be deleting this. Android. Android tests from our sources string control space, just bring them, yes, and yeah, under our graphical layout we see we have a white color with send, a white color text with send. Yeah, so you can see what I'm trying to explain. I told this message board to take over the whole space that is there, but once other item comes in, that you should make a space for it. You should just adjust, let it adjust, let the new item adjust to any space that it requires. So even if this text box wants to adjust to even half of this, it will give it a space to adjust to it. So I gave the instruction by using the weight, that's 1 and the height 0 dp. I define the height to be 0 and I use the weight 1 to let it adjust to any other thing that comes in. So now we are through. We design our layout, which is the user interface, the UI. But before then, we try to let's run it on our emulator. We restore it again. Remember we did that before, so we just trying to install it. When you click on to running out the app, when you click run, yeah, you click on run to run the app, it will restore it on the emulator, so you don't have to uninstall the previous one which you have on your emulator. So once you click on run, it will restore it on the emulator. So now after we test running it on the emulator, then we try to implement the UI logic. So that's the brain behind all the UI functions, or what governs what governs on the UI functions, or that is what governs everything that is on the UI, on user interface. Let's try to run our app on the emulator. So we click on run. Now to get it installed into our emulator. We save all necessary changes to our application. So it's now being reinstalled into our emulator. So our app is now successfully reinstalled into our emulator. So let's try. Let me bring up our emulator, so we try to check out what we have done so far. Go on the menu button. So here is our app on the emulator. We click on it. Alright, so here is our text message in the app. These are work which we have done so far. You can see we did a good work here. These are the title for the phone number input area. This is the phone text field, and this is the text field box. You can see we gave a hint to it, and you can see the text box is blinking, and once you start typing inside the box, the hint which is here will automatically disappear. And also you can take a look on our message box. We gave a hint to it. So once I start tapping on it, it will disappear, and we gave a color to our background. We differentiated the color of the boxes with that of the background, and we created a send button with a white send text. So let me just try to input. As I can remember, as I told you, that you cannot be able to put alphabets into these are phone number box area, because we define it as a phone number box area. So when you try to impose a alphabet into it, it will not go. Only phone number that is accepted. Why this example that you're seeing here is that is in alphabet, that is in alphabet because it's a hint and it's actually on the boss area. So when I start typing in, though the boss area will be blinking, but when I start typing it, this boss will automatically disappear. If it's on the boss area, I'll have to clean up it. I have to clean it up before I start putting any other thing. So let me try to put alphabets from my keyboard. You can say the H stands for 4. I'll try typing the H is typing on 4. You understand? So it's only meant for numbers and not for alphabets. So now I'll try to tell the user this example of number you're supposed to put here, and this the inside the message button we assign a hint for the user to be able to know that you should put your message here. You can put any other message, any other hint for the user, but I can just use this for my hint. So alright, we have done a good job so far, and when you try to do all this, okay, what we'll be doing through we didn't do much here. We just created the layout, the user interface first. No much work. You can't be able to send SMS through this. You just created the user interface. Then you have to implement the UI logic to instruct the user to be able to input numbers on this field and not to leave it empty, and also messages on this box and not to leave it empty. When the user tries to leave this placement or leave this box empty, maybe types message on the message box and try to send, it will give you an error. That's what we'll be doing next in the UI logic. That's through the UI logic. It will give the user an error saying that the phone box area is empty. You should put something there. It should not be empty, or the field is required. And here when you click on the send button, discover it won't do much. It won't send anything because actually no function has been applied to it. Why our application is crashed because I tried to click on the send button is because no UI is a button and it's supposed to be going with a function, so no function has been applied to it. So once I implement the UI logic, our application will not be able to crash again. So let me just close down emulator for now, then we'll work on the UI logic.